Hi you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So first things first, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So number two, as you could probably tell by the title of this video, I am going to be doing a benefit brow, 4 styles, everything. So the reason I'm making this video is because I am currently participating in the Benefit Brow Search, and for those of you who don't know what it is or you aren't really sure all the details about it, if you go onto Benefit's Instagram and you go to their bio, there's a little link that says benefitbrowsearch.com, and if you click on that, it basically tells you essentially everything you need to know. And on this, it'll show you the 4 styles that you can use for this brow search competition. So on here, you have the contour brow, the feathered brow, the natural brow, and the straight brow. So basically, long story short, this brow competition is meant to see what people can do with Benefit, specifically brow products. So what happens is they pick 20 people and they're going to join Benefit in Tucson, Arizona, which is their destination for this year. It's a different place every year. And they do these little brow challenges, so it's like a really fun little competition. And then they pick 4 big influencers to be the captains of all of these teams, so that everybody's split into different teams so that it's like even between the 4 big influencer people. And so then one grand prize winner will receive a contract with Benefit, plus social exposure and major brand love, as well as $50,000. So obviously this is something that is a very big deal. I did not have the ability to do this last year because I was overloading my units to graduate on time. So because I actually have the time this year, I'm doing it. I'm very excited about it. So far I've done, I think, 3 entries, and what this video is for me to show you how you can do each type of brow that they're asking for, obviously using Benefit specific products. So you will sense a theme here because I recently had to pick up some stuff because I was literally running like completely out of it. So I'm going to be using like 3 or 4, I think 4 different products for every single brow, like style of brow that I use. So the contour, the feather, the natural, and the straight will all be using the Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 3. I go through these really quickly, so it's nice to have one that's a backup. And I just recently got the KaBrow Dip Brow Pomade, the KaBrow Pomade. I don't usually use this, but I figured for this competition I'd like to have more than just like one product to fill in my brows. I don't use it for like the entire brow, but I definitely use it just during the process, and it is very helpful. Next, we have the 3D Brow Tones. I use this in the shade 4 because when I went to Sephora a couple weeks ago, they only had 2, 4, and something else. They didn't have a shade 3, so I was like, okay, 4 is fine. It's not really like a drastic change compared to what the shade of my brows are, so it's fine. Then I use the 24-hour brow setter. I have been using this for a very long time. I used to use the Anastasia gel setter, but I really like Benefit stuff. Not that Anastasia is bad. Anastasia is literally amazing, but for the intents and purposes of this video, everything is going to be Benefit. Obviously, I'm just going to come out and say it. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just doing this because I think it would be fun to show you guys how to do every style. And just a fair warning, everybody has a different type of brow naturally, so some looks are going to be a lot easier than others to achieve. So like, for example, I just recently got my eyebrows done, so the natural look, the contour look, and the straight look maybe will be the easier side for me, whereas the feathered brow is going to be interesting because feathered brows are easier to do when you have a little bit more hair to work with that you can push up. So we're gonna see how that goes today. But I apologize that my face does not match my neck right now. I need to get a new foundation. I am still wearing my summer foundation and I have not had the chance to get a new one yet. So don't judge. So the first thing that we're gonna do, as you can see, everything else in my face is done except for my eyebrows, because obviously I wanted to look nice for this video, but we want the brows to be the focus. So The first thing that I'm going to do, as I do for every single time I do my brows, I'm going to take, this is the Precisely My Brow Pencil, and I'm going to take the spoolie and just comb up my little brow hairs. So that way they are where they need to be for when I actually start putting product in them. So the first one that I'm going to show you guys is the natural brow, which is really easy because all you really have to do is follow the natural curve of your eyebrow. For the sake of this video, I'm going to show you on this eyebrow specifically, because at the end of the video, I'm going to finish it with the straight brows because that's going to be my entry on my social media today. So I figured it would just be easier to do one brow for all 4 styles and then do the other brow for the last one, because I don't want to go through a bunch of product trying to do all 4 styles at one time. So I have brushed through this eyebrow, and then I'm going to take my Precisely My Brow Pencil, and I'm just going to line the underneath of my brow. I don't have any product on my eyes right now besides eyelashes. I don't have anything like a primer, I don't have concealer, I don't have anything on here right now. So I'm just following the natural shape of my brow. And the natural shape is nice because, like, if you're in a rush or you just want to look nice for your makeup, it's not a hard brow to do. I always try to flick up at the very front of my brows to give them a little, make them look a little bit more filled in. I can't speak when I'm doing my brows, I'm sorry. So now that I've got the basic underline of this eyebrow done, I'm filling in the center of my brows just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just to have a little bit of uniformity throughout this part of the brow. And then what I'm going to do is I'll take my spoolie and just comb this through. So now what I'm going to do is, because this is the natural brow style, I'm just going to continue with this Precisely My Brow Pencil, and I'm going to go lightly on the top part of my brow and just follow the curves. So as you can see, I'm just following this exact shape. I'm not trying to make an arch or anything. I'm just following the natural arch of my brow, following the direction. It's super simple. So because I already have the rest of my face done, I'm going to try not to like carve out the top part of my brow because there's not really a point to that right now. Lately, I would just like to carve out the underside because I just think it makes it look nicer and brighter. But especially in this case when I'm just trying to show what I can do naturally with these products, I think it's helpful. Like, obviously you can carve out the top of your brow if you want to, but because I'm already wearing makeup around my brow and I'm gonna take this off and do it again, I'm gonna try to put as little makeup around that as possible so that way I don't have to keep reapplying it every time I go to do this. So as you can see, this is what the natural brow shape looks like. This is very easy, very simple. You really only need this product to do it, to like fill everything in. So then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the 3D brow tones and just run those through. And obviously I'm not going to do a whole lot, not that I would normally, but especially because this is a natural brow look, I'm only going to do a little bit. I'm going to take this little, so the spoolie here has this little like ball looking thing up at the top, and I am going to use that just to do a little bit at the front of the brow. There we go. And then I'm going to use the rest of it and just comb it a little bit through the brow. And obviously your last step would be to use the 24-hour brow setter, and this, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm not going to use this until the very end just because I don't want to, you know, use a bunch of product when I'm going to be taking it off. But the spoolie, it looks like this. I say it's a spoolie, but it's kind of different. So it looks like this. So basically there's a short fiber end, or like a short brush end, and a long brush end, as you can see. So I like to use the short brush end for the front of my brow and the longer side for the rest of my brow, because obviously the hairs in the front of your brow are probably going to be shorter than the rest of your brow hairs. So that's what I like to do for my natural brows. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this one off, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do a, let's see, I'm going to show you guys how to do a contour brow next. So that one is the one I would usually do for like a majority of my makeup looks. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have taken off my natural brow. I do have a little bit of redness around here, but I tried to cover it up with my Beauty Blender as much as possible just so that we can start this next brow. So with the next brow that I'm going to do being the contour brow, I have already ran my spoolie through it to make sure my hairs are nice and where they need to be. And so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to take my KaBrow pomade and I'm going to take the little brush that comes with it. It's very tiny. It looks like that, very tiny. And I'm just going to go and do what I did last time, and I'm going to put this product underneath, following the line. And this time, since it's a contour brow and I want it to be very clean and precise, I'm going to put it right underneath my brow, and I'm going to keep it in a straight line up until I hit this arch right here, because I want the bottom part not to look like there's a bunch of lines and stuff going on. So we're going to do that straight to the arch. And remember, everybody's eyebrow shape is different, so sometimes it might be easier or harder for you to do a certain eyebrow style. Everybody has their own preferences. This is just me showing you how I do these different styles with my eyebrows. So if you're having trouble, I promise you, it's just because you have a different brow shape and you have to get used to which one works best for you. So right here, I just flicked up some product into the front of my brow to make it look a little bit more defined. So now that I'm over here on the bottom part of my brow, I'm going to follow this arch, but I'm going to make it very precise. So right now I'm just taking some of this pomade and I am running it through my actual brow. Then we get to the top part right here. I'm going to kind of have this go up a little bit higher than what my brow line actually is, because it's a little funky right now. Now that we've gotten to this arch, I'm going to go up a little bit, put a little bit more emphasis on that arch. And then we'll, of course, this is the brow that we'll go back and we'll do a little bit of cleanup. And then I'm just following that contour part down and into the tail of the brow. And obviously if you have your personal eyebrow brush to use, then by all means use it. I'm just using this one because it's very tiny and I feel like I can get the details that I want done with this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Precisely My Brow Pencil and I'm going to take my spoolie and run some of the product through here. So what I'm doing with this brow pencil is I'm just trying to fine-tune the top areas that can be a little hard to be precise with, hence Precisely My Brow Pencil. Because with the pomade and the brush, sometimes because it's a brush, it can go on a little thicker than you want it to. So I'm just fine-tuning the areas that I'm working on. So I'm actually pretty confident with this brow. I don't feel really the need to carve anything out at this moment, especially because the arch is very much how I want it to be. So as you can see, the contour brow is a little bit more bolder. It's a little bit more product above your natural brow lines. Especially if you have sparse brows, a contour brow is really nice depending on how many products you have to make it look like you have really full brows. Because I know a lot of people that I've seen on like Instagram or YouTube in general, and they have very sparse brows and they'll use brow products and they look like they have beautiful full brows. So don't be discouraged. Sometimes with brows it just takes some time to practice. It has taken me so long to get comfortable doing my brows. I almost never put them in my Instagram videos just because I take so much time with them that I don't want to like go through and edit even more. But this is good because now this shows you guys how exactly I do my brows. This is the one that I almost always go for in my, for like when I post my Instagram pictures or videos or something. If my brows are already done, this is like 99% of the time, this is what it's gonna be. So just to give you guys like a little bit of an idea of what you can do. And then obviously I'm going to go in again with the 3D brow tones, and I'm going to do the same thing we did last time. As always, I would normally add the brow setter after. I'm only not doing it now because we still have 2 more styles to go. So I'm going to take this off, even though I'm kind of sad because it looks really good and I'm really proud of this one. But I'm going to go and show you guys the feathered brow now. So this one should be interesting because I don't have a whole lot of stuff to feather. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so now I have cleared everything from my contour brow and I have got it back down to our basics. So for this one, as you can tell, I have this brow as the normal one that it's been the whole time. This one, I took my spoolie and I brushed up every single hair as much as I possibly could to be up and out, because with the feathered brow, you want it to look almost like bird-like, hence feathered. So the way that I'm going to do this one is I'm going to use mostly my Precisely My Brow pencil so that I can get better with the detail work. I'm going to use a little bit of the KaBrow pomade, but it's mostly going to be this pencil. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to flick up everything that I'm doing for every hair stroke. So instead of doing the line like I usually did for the other two, I'm just going to do this, being as outward as possible, upward and outward. And so as you can see, what this is doing is it's filling in the brow, but the way that I'm flicking it is it's making the brow look almost like messy. So now that I have done that with the pencil, I'm going to go in with the KaBrow pomade. I'm going to use that little brush to do some feather-like strokes up at the front of the brow. And see how I'm kind of going up a little bit more so that you can see a little bit of the product above my brow? That's kind of what we want for this look. Now I'm going to go back in with this pencil and flick everything up like I was doing before. So now that I have put some more product in and I've pushed it out and up as much as I can, I'm just going to take my spoolie and do the same thing again by brushing these hairs up as much as I can. So as you can see, this brow is definitely more of a challenge for me because when you don't have as many like loose brow hairs to kind of fluff up, it's kind of hard, but you do the best with what you have. So this looks pretty good considering we started off with a brow like this and now we have a brow like this. So what I'm gonna do now again is use the 3D brow tones. And with the feathered brow, it's okay if you don't clean it up a little bit because it like having that messy look is nice for this particular style. So I'm just gonna brush that up a little bit. And so your end result is going to look something like this. So this is the feathered brow. Definitely not one of my personal favorites, but that's just because I like the contour brow a lot. So this is what I can do with a feathered brow. Now that we have done this one, I'm going to show you guys one that I've actually never done before. So we're gonna see how this goes. But yeah, so this is the feathered brow. Okay, so now I'm going to take this brow off and we're going to do the straight brow. So going into the straight brow, the thing with this one is that it's basically taking the tail end of your brow and like lifting it up a little bit. So this is going to be a little bit interesting because I've never done this particular brow before, so we're all just gonna figure this one out together. So for this instance, I'm going to go in with the brow pencil first because I feel most comfortable using that when I'm trying something new. So that's what I'm going to do. I have some pictures from Instagram here to just kind of give me some references as to what this is supposed to look like. So that's what we're going to be following today. So as usual, I'm going to do what I've been doing and line the underneath of the brow. So the way that I'm kind of starting to do this is I'm trying to keep the arch of this bottom part as straight as possible. So now what I'm doing is I'm kind of pushing my hairs up to be like a little bit more facing towards my right temple. And then I'm going to do what I've been doing and just fill in the top part of my brow. So as you can see, the underneath part of this is very straight. There's not a lot of curvature to it. And the same thing with the top part. We want the top part to be as straight as possible. You know, for my first time doing a straight brow, it's not too shabby. So what I'm going to do with this particular brow is I am going to clean underneath it because this is the last brow of the video, and this is also going to be my brow entry for today on my Instagram. Very proud of actually how this turned out. I have never done a straight brow before, so very proud of myself. So as usual, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these 3D brow tones. And then finally, I will be using the 24-hour brow setter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other eyebrow off camera, and then I will do my final spiel as I usually do. Okay, so I officially have my straight brows on, everything is set, so the only thing that I have left to tell you guys is that if you would like to support my brow search entries, it would mean the world to me. I have been doing a lot of support for some other MUAs that I found, just for either like products that I like or the brow search as well, because I think it's really important to support our fellow beauty community people. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would like to support me. My user for Instagram is ash_slay_MUA. I will put it down here somewhere, and if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.